Let's talk about something you've definitely felt, even if you couldn't put a name to it. There's this one single metric that has quietly, methodically made your experience of the modern world so much more frustrating. You're not imagining it. That feeling that customer service has gotten worse, that apps are just a little more annoying to use, and trying to cancel anything, well, that feels like a full-time job you never signed up for. So who's the villain here? I mean, when we get this frustrated, our first instinct is to find someone to blame, right? We usually land on the easy answers. It's just bad companies, or maybe some greedy executives twirling their mustaches in a boardroom. Or, hey, maybe it's just sheer incompetence. But honestly, that explanation is just a little too simple. It misses the real story. Because what really broke the customer experience wasn't a sudden flood of terrible people entering the workforce. It was a change in what was being measured. It was one single metric that changed, well, everything. So let's get into how companies really work. They might have posters on the wall talking about their mission and their values, but what actually drives their day-to-day decisions isn't a fluffy mission statement. It's the numbers on their dashboards. This isn't a story about morals. It's a story about incentives. You show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome. And here it is, the metric that has reshaped our digital world. It's called the LTV to CAC ratio. Now that sounds jargony, but stick with me. LTV is customer lifetime value, and CAC is customer acquisition cost. It's really just a simple fraction. On one side, you have CAC, or customer acquisition cost. That's just the money they spend on ads and marketing to get you to sign up. But the other side, LTV, lifetime value, that's the key. That is how much money they can squeeze out of you over the entire time you're a customer. And this is the part that changes everything. Once they've paid that cost to get you in the door, the goal isn't just to make you happy anymore. The goal becomes maximizing the gap between what they paid for you and what they can get from you. You're not just a customer, you are now a revenue stream to be stretched out for as long as possible. Now, it wasn't always this way. There was a huge shift in business strategy that happened right under our noses, and most of us never even saw it. Think about it. Back in the day, the game was simple. A company made you happy with one purchase and hoped you'd come back for another. Pricing was pretty clear. But then, growth started slowing down, and investors started asking a new, dangerous question. How can we make every single customer worth more? And just like that, the goal changed from let's make them happy to come back to how long can we possibly keep them paying? And that was the turning point, right there. Customer experience stopped being the main goal, and it became a constraint. It became something to be managed, to keep just good enough so you don't revolt and leave, but not so good that it hurts their ability to maximize your lifetime value. So what does this actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, this is where that abstract metric starts to systematically warp the design of the products and services we use constantly. And this is where it gets real. Suddenly, the cancel subscription button isn't on the main page anymore. No, it's buried 5 clicks deep in some menu you've never heard of. Getting a human in customer support feels impossible. A refund that could be instant now takes 5 to 7 business days. These aren't accidents. They are very deliberate choices. See, it's not that the designers are bad people. It's that in this new model, friction is profitable. Every extra click creates delay. Every confusing step is designed to wear you down, to increase your fatigue. The whole point is to make you just say, forget it and give up. That's what they call cancellation drop-off. And you might think, who would really give up? Well, at a massive scale, it works incredibly well. Look at this. If a company can just get a measly 2% of users to give up on canceling their subscription, that tiny bit of friction can translate into millions of dollars in revenue. So friction isn't a bug, it's a feature. This is so important to get. From the cold calculating perspective of that LTV to CAC ratio, none of this is a mistake. Your frustration is actually a sign that the system is working exactly as intended. And that, of course, brings us to the question I'm sure is running through your head right now. How on earth is any of this legal? Well, the answer is that all these tricks, these dark patterns, they live in a very murky legal gray area. See, they don't actually force you to stay. They just exhaust you. The law generally protects your choice to leave, but it doesn't always protect your right to a clear and easy path. As long as the cancel button technically exists somewhere, they're usually in the clear. Okay, so let's tie this all together.
It's really time we reframe how we think about all this frustration, because it's not you, it's the machine you're fighting against. And this, to me, is the most insidious part of the whole thing. When we struggle with this stuff, when we can't find the button or we get stuck in a phone tree, our first instinct is to blame ourselves. We think, oh, I must be bad at this, or I should have read the fine print. But you're not being irrational. Your frustration is the most logical response in the world. You are a human being with limited time and attention, navigating a machine that was meticulously engineered to exploit exactly that, your attention and your natural inertia. And once you see this logic, you will start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's the hidden engine running your streaming services, your gym membership, your airline's baggage fees, your bank. The list goes on and on. The product might be different, but the core logic, stretch that LTV, it's always the same.
So the next time you find yourself trapped in a cancellation maze, just remember this. This experience didn't happen by accident. It was designed piece by piece, decision by decision. This isn't a broken system. This is a system doing exactly what it was paid to do.